Las Vegas, Nevada is a city built on cold, hard cash. From the early days when mob money fueled Sin City.
All of the underground secret passages would provide the opportunity to skim casino profits.
To today, with major corporations spending billions to put on the biggest show.
Okay, Las Vegas, watch out. Wow! That's intense.
It cost a fortune to engineer this oasis, and now everyone wants a piece of the action.
That is awesome.
All right, so we're really going down the bowels of the dam here.
If you're claustrophobic,
This is where you feel it.
We're peeling back the layers of time on Cities of the Underworld. Secret Sin City. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, America's Sin City. For nearly a century, Vegas has found a way to make big bucks on our country's favorite vices, transforming a barren desert into a booming metropolis. The dream of big, quick cash still drives this gambling mecca. And from smuggling tunnels under one of Nevada's oldest casinos to top secret vaults to secure the dough, to mega engineering projects that made this town, Las Vegas has always done things big, above ground and below. Located in the sun-baked Mojave Desert, Las Vegas means the meadows in Spanish. It was named for fields growing around its small natural springs. But today, a different kind of green defines this city. In Vegas, bigger is better. 15 of the 20 largest hotels in the world are here. And every year, gamblers lose $6 billion in their casinos. Hidden underneath the glitz and glamour of the Strip is a virtual fortress of underground vaults, guarding Vegas's vast fortune, $6.75 billion annually. From the earliest days of Vegas gambling, crooks, cheats, even casino employees have looked for ways to beat the odds by beating the system. But casinos combat this challenge by spending up to $30 billion annually across the country on security, developing equally ingenious counters to even the craftiest crooks. Vegas casinos are on 24-hour lockdown with eye-in-the-sky surveillance and super secure vaults hidden in their underground. Casino security has evolved from strong-arm tactics to high-tech surveillance. So I went to check out where old-school Vegas meets 21st century expertise. Fitzgerald's Casino is one of the classic casinos on Fremont Street, the stretch of downtown Vegas once known as Glitter Gulch. I met with John Fiato, the security director at Fitzgerald's. John has been working security in Vegas for 25 years, and he knows the key to beating cheaters is keeping track of every single nickel.
We're going to follow the security officers to the soft count room.
Just as we arrived, we immediately had to follow along on a strictly scheduled money drop, swapping out full cash boxes all over the casino for empty ones, ending in a highly secured underground vault, rarely seen on TV.
what is he doing, John, at this moment?
He'll turn the key, which releases a locking mechanism in the back of the sleeve. He removes the full box.
Okay. So there's money in this box. There you go.
It's always a good day when there's money in the box.
How many times a day do you have to do this routine?
This happens 3 times a day. Everything is on time, on schedule, and the Gaming Control Board knows every casino's schedule when it comes to this process.
If you missed your appointments on these routines, what would be the consequence?
Once you start deviating, you could get on their radar, and then they want to know why. The similar theory we use in the casino security.
Yeah.
Everyone enters the casino for a purpose. It's a play. It's scripted. Guests are here to eat, drink, or gamble.
Right.
Once someone doesn't do that, they don't execute their role on my stage, that's our cue to watch them.
Keeping an eye on the millions requires multiple backups, constant surveillance, and an underground vault.
This is downstairs. I mean, the casino's over our heads here. We're going in to see the hard count room where the money is counted. All that tape from the floor brought down in these shifts all day long into here. And now you get a sense of how many different barriers there are to get into this place.
This vault is almost never seen on television. It's known as the hard count room. Hard count refers to coins. Soft count is paper money, dollar bills. The money travels down from the casino's 2 upper floors in special service elevators with restricted key access. The number of access points and the exact thickness of the walls and ceiling are a closely guarded secret.
Now you're really at the heart of the matter.
Oh, the nickels
that were taken into the slot machine.
So the coins went through the conveyor belt, fell into this hopper. What now?
We'll activate another switch, and the nickels, they'll feed up this conveyor, and they will only be allowed to drop into a machine that's ready to roll nickels.
And out they come. Look at them, just spitting out of here. So these are the nickels that went into a slot machine last night and were counted by the team, brought back here, shoved in here, and this is basically $2 a nickel. They made their money. And off it goes to the bank. Before getting banked, the hard count is stacked in a storage area. As much as $300,000 flow through here each day.
If I don't cheat and I come to Las Vegas and my mouth is watering, I'm standing among stacks of money. Almost $100,000 on this wall alone.
Right.
And this is just one of your vaults.
Correct.
There are 13 major casinos downtown and 41 on the Strip, each one collecting and storing millions of dollars daily in areas protected by high-tech facial recognition software, lasers, and security teams trained by special forces. But all that money exerts an irresistible pull on scammers, thieves, and cheaters. From the infamous MIT math geniuses who used computer models to improve their odds at the blackjack table, to thieves known as railbirds, who grab money off of a table and make a run for it. There are a million ways to swindle the casinos.
How much of security in Vegas has changed since the days of Bugsy Siegel, the beginning?
When I started in this business 25 years ago, our role, security officer's role, was that basically of a bouncer. Now, every casino in the Valley, and I know the directors at almost every property because we meet monthly, and we meet with Homeland Security, and we meet with Israeli Special Forces, and it's constant training and an evolution.
So if somebody's cheating you on your floor, eventually, actually quickly, somebody else knows about it at another floor in another casino.
That's correct. If something happens here, everybody in 13 downtown properties knows within 30 minutes.
So I'm leaving the hard count room and I'm getting wanded here to make sure I didn't walk out with any coin. I mean, they have to worry about people on the inside scamming them just as much as they have to worry about people coming from outside. It's just my sunglasses. Is that all right? Steel shank. These are tough macho boots. All right. Thank you very much. So even though this guy is the head of security of the casino, he still has to be checked coming out of the count room to make sure he's not stealing from the pot.
But the best protection for the underground is found up above, where cutting-edge surveillance technology is the name of the game. From tracking software implanted in chips to sophisticated surveillance cameras. Some experts say Vegas has more cameras per square foot than any airport or other institution in the country, including Washington, D.C. And all of Fitzgerald's cameras are monitored from one room, a nerve center hidden deep inside.
Look at this bank of TV screens. How many are up here?
Upwards of 60.
For security reasons, the faces of the employees who operate and monitor the surveillance rooms cannot be shown.
So what are we looking at here? We're looking at blackjack tables, we're looking at craps games, close-up on chips.
You can see right down to the denominations.
So if you were suspecting that someone at this blackjack table was cheating, how do we get a closer look?
We're watching cards, we're watching dealers' hands. Once we know she's dealing a clean game, then we can come out and we can start evaluate the play of each of these individuals on the table.
Wow.
They watch every square inch of what transpires on that floor, up to and including what happens in the surveillance room itself.
This is us right here.
That is me from a camera right over there. Nobody gets trusted in this place.
Absolutely. Everybody's being watched
At all times.
at all times.
We can't get away with anything in here.
We hope not.
Up next,
We're entering.
we're given rare access to the bowels of the Hoover Dam.
There's almost 700 feet of concrete above us.
And over here, millions of gallons of blatant heat.
And later, following the money trail at this Nevada casino leads to a legendary singer and even notorious mobsters.
Sam Giancana. He's alleged to have ordered the murders of 200 people.
In the early 1900s, Las Vegas looked a lot like this. It was a tiny town in the middle of the desert, growing rapidly as a key stop on the Union Pacific Railroad. But in 1927, the railroad left, and Vegas was on the verge of extinction. Then, just 1 year later, the U.S. government passed a bill funding an unprecedented engineering project just outside of town. It would be known as Hoover Dam. It was a massive and often deadly risk. Building the largest dam in the world, holding back trillions of gallons of water in the middle of the barren desert. When construction began on the Hoover Dam in 1930, over 42,000 men applied for the 5,000 available jobs. It was the depths of the Great Depression, and people were desperate for work, even dangerous hard labor in the middle of nowhere.
I'm heading out to Hoover Dam. When the dam was first constructed back in the 1930s, the government housed this huge influx of workers, thousands of people, in a brand new company town called Boulder City. But Boulder City was a dry town, so when these workers needed to have fun, they had to go somewhere. Where'd they go? A little desert oasis called Las Vegas.
Hoover Dam is located 30 miles southeast of the neon lights of Vegas, on the Nevada-Arizona border. It took $50 million, equal to $600 million today, to build this eighth wonder of the world, and enough concrete to build an 18-foot wide roadway from San Francisco to New York.
This thing is so spectacular. Look at it.
This enormous shape, and inside this, you can see there's windows inside. There's a world inside of this.
I met facilities manager Bill Bruninga, who could take me down inside this massive structure to parts of the dam few have seen, besides the men who built it 70 years ago.
How tall is this dam?
The dam is 726 feet tall, from riverbed to the top.
The Hoover Dam harnesses the power of the Colorado River, containing it in the biggest man-made reservoir in the world, Lake Mead, to provide electricity for California, Arizona, and Nevada.
So there's elevators that go right down into this thing.
There's 2 elevators at Hoover Dam, and they take us directly inside the dam itself. This elevator can go 500 feet in about 1 minute.
Elevators took us down to nearly the halfway point in just seconds. But in case of a power failure, there are about 4,000 stairs as well.
Whoa! Look at that. So these are all steps all the way to the top of this dam.
Yes.
How far up does that go?
Oh, that's a good couple hundred feet.
Damn.
Isn't that amazing? And take a look at this, the other direction, going down.
Incredible. So I'm basically seeing from top to bottom of the Hoover Dam.
We were moving through maintenance tunnels, originally installed to keep tabs on how well the dam was holding up. One crack could grow into an unimaginable disaster. Without the dam, 25 million people in the Southwest would be without water.
We're going to need some safety equipment.
There you go.
Hard hats were essentially invented here during original construction. The workers would put two baseball caps together, dip them in tar, get them nice and hard, and that would protect their heads.
At the height of construction, as many as 5,000 workers a day toiled around the clock in 3 shifts, battling 119-degree heat and falling debris with no real safety equipment.
Look at this. Check this out. These are the drill holes for the blasting, okay? So right through here, they're putting the dynamite in. These holes are all over the place.
Dynamite blasting often released deadly carbon monoxide gas. The only safety precaution for the guys on blasting detail were the chasers, men who ran into the tunnels every 12 minutes to pull out those who had collapsed, and sometimes they weren't fast enough. 96 men died building the dam over 5 years. But during the Great Depression, there were always replacements, men willing to risk anything for a decent paycheck. On their days off, workers headed into Las Vegas, where gambling, booze, and prostitution were all legal, cementing its reputation as Sin City. And all the danger and hardship they faced was to generate this: power.
What is this? Oh, man. The turbines. This is the power being generated.
Yes, it is. This is the Arizona power plant.
Hoover Dam has a total of 17 turbines in its 2 650-foot wings, 9 in Arizona, 8 in Nevada, and they generate more than 2,000 megawatts of hydroelectric power. If the dam were to fail or turbines shut down, there would be power outages in 3 states, dealing a devastating blow to the entire economy of the Southwest.
That's Lake Mead that way. The dam is all around us. This is what we saw looking down on it. And all of these turbines are turning the generators that are creating the power.
The turbine's wings are located near the base of the dam, connected to the surface 500 feet above by 7 miles of maintenance shafts. But there's an even lower level called the seepage gallery, a hollow area where the water that seeps in through the surrounding rock is collected, then pumped back out downriver of the dam.
For security, I'm going to have to ask you to stop here. We're going to have to turn off the cameras.
Okay, just turn off the camera.
Bearing the most pressure, the base of the dam is extremely vulnerable to both nature and sabotage. So access to this restricted area is closely guarded.
All right. So the public sees a lot of Hoover Dam. I mean, upstairs. The thing is a national monument. It's gorgeous. There's gorgeous floors. But there's also a belly of the beast, you know? This is the works down here. We're going down below. We're entering. This is a chamber that's normally flooded, collecting all the seepage water, but they've pumped it out for us today.
Now take a look at this right above your head.
Oh yeah, right. So this is calcification. You know, line coming down through the water. You start to get a sense that you're really in one of the biggest dams in the world.
It's getting dirtier.
Yeah, it's good.
Now watch your step.
Yeah.
Very slippery.
Very slippery.
Near the very bottom of the dam, pumps operate 24 hours a day to remove the 1,500 gallons of water per minute that surge in from the surrounding canyon walls.
All the way down to the bottom. This is the seepage that's coming through the rocks around the dam, and it's being collected down below. You get the sense now. Think of this. There's hundreds of feet of concrete over our heads. On either side, canyon walls. Over there, Lake Mead. Millions of gallons of water. Everything is pressing down on this spot. If you're claustrophobic, this is where you feel it.
A minute later, we arrived at the place where very few men have ever stepped foot, at the absolute bottom of the Hoover Dam. All 4 million cubic tons of it.
How far are we down below?
Oh, there's almost 700 feet of concrete above us.
And over here, millions of gallons of Lake Mead.
Yep. And we're just a few feet away from the bedrock below Hoover Dam.
No kidding. So this is the bottom of the thing right here.
Yes.
To start with, engineers carved out 4 diversion tunnels. With the Colorado River temporarily redirected, they excavated along the rocky walls of Black Canyon for 2 years to make room for the dam. Finally, 6 million tons of concrete were poured, and the dam was complete. To make sure the concrete at the base was completely dry and solid, engineers used 230 separate massive blocks to build that section. The blocks were assembled as columns, and then concrete was poured into the spaces between. In 1935, the dam was complete. The diversionary tunnels were temporarily blocked off, and Lake Mead began to fill up. The tunnels were then converted into spillways, used to keep the water in Lake Mead at a safe level, just like the overflow pipe in a bathtub. We were given rare access into these spillway tunnels, 550 feet below the highest level of the dam.
We're going for a boat ride on the downstream side of the Hoover Dam, and this is crazy. It is huge, and dark. We are now going underneath of the canyon walls, 50 feet in diameter, huge tunnels that serve, even today, a purpose, which is if Lake Mead gets too high and they want to release some of that water, it may spill over into that spillway, come roaring down this tunnel. And if we were there at that moment, we'd be going straight to Mexico. So that's daylight down there. That's now daylight. That is awesome. That is really awesome. Look at that. That is daylight up there. Lake Mead is just beyond there. And this is where the water pours down and keeps the balance. 1930s concrete is what we're looking at here. 1930s genius. In a sense, this is what made America great. Projects like this. Huge, vast vision. I mean, this is just part of Hoover Dam. Just look at that. It's immense. It's unimaginable.
Up next, big crime bosses and big-time celebrities in the tunnels beneath a Lake Tahoe lodge.
This is the entrance to Frank Sinatra's subterranean world.
And later, a massive project to save this dry desert city from its deadliest threat, rain.
Hey! This is hauling over one of these huge boxes. We got to get out of the way.
Las Vegas was part Wild West, part Big Bad City, and a perfect place for mobsters to move in and take over. But criminal activity in the West wasn't only in Sin City. It also took hold in the remote mountains of northern Nevada. The Cal Neva Lodge is located on the shores of Lake Tahoe in the Sierra Nevada mountain range.
I'm meeting Bill Eatington. He's an expert on Nevada gaming. He's going to take me right through this place.
Originally constructed in 1926, the Cal Neva straddles the state line between California and Nevada. Here in this hideaway deep in the woods, the hotel's rich and famous clientele could enjoy gambling, drinking, and prostitution, thanks to shady underworld characters who built a secret network of tunnels to keep the illegal fun flowing.
So really, Tahoe, Reno area, was really a testing ground for the mob in Nevada.
We had mobsters get involved here, but they were more or less local mobsters, not the mafia families out of Chicago or New York.
The hotel's celebrity showroom brought in famous celebrities and performers, but beneath the noses of an oblivious public, some of America's most notorious criminals may have been running the show.
There were mobsters who were here, we know that. And what's interesting about it is they were not really allowed to be seen in public. And so they would often want to see the show. They would use the tunnel system to come from the cabins here, and they would often sit up in the eaves of this particular theater.
A trapdoor beneath the floor made an easy escape route for mobsters running from the law, or celebrities hiding from the spotlight.
This would provide the opportunity to skim casino profits and to carry them out in brown paper bags. With all of the underground secret passages, it would not be difficult to get money out of them.
The Calneva's location, right on the state line, would have made it easy to shuttle dirty money back and forth over the border. And if the law did show up, it was easy to make a quick exit.
Right. So the public doesn't go down here?
No, nobody has access to this area.
All right. So we're down below the Calneva Lodge right here. I mean, you're in the tunnels of what was a giant speakeasy back in the day. I mean, this whole thing, all these networks of tunnels go off in every direction. Look how far down it goes. This thing is vast.
There are roughly 100 yards of secret tunnels beneath the Calneva. They run under the main lodge and even branch out to the cabanas, all to ensure that anything or anyone could be moved in and out of the resort without being seen. Originally, these were bootlegging tunnels during Prohibition, but when the Mafia moved in, these tunnels hid their illegal operations and even some of their celebrity friends. The mob had been worming their way in to control gambling in Nevada ever since the state legalized it in 1931. Mobsters from around the country wanted a piece of the casino business. Quick cash that was easy to hide from the taxman. While Bugsy Siegel had opened the Flamingo in Las Vegas, another notorious mobster named Sam Giancana came here.
Sam Giancana, who is a very notorious Chicago-based mobster who is alleged...
He's a big-time national...
He's a big-time guy. He's alleged to have ordered the murders of 200 people.
Their biggest obstacle was the Nevada Gaming Commission's Black Book, a list of undesirables who weren't allowed to set foot in, let alone own, a casino. They needed frontmen. The more respectable, the better.
And this happened all over the country. I mean, this is the idea of silent partnership. The mobsters are in the shadows, and they find someone to be in the public eye.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the pattern.
One high-profile, respectable owner of the Calneva was none other than Frank Sinatra. Because of his reputed ties to the mob, the FBI compiled a 2,000-page report that links him to notorious mobsters like Carlo Gambino and Sam Giancana. Frank focused a brilliant spotlight on the Calneva, as big names like his Rat Pack friends, Marilyn Monroe, and some believe JFK dropped in for a visit. And what happened in the tunnels, mobsters sneaking in and out, celebrities carrying on illicit affairs, stayed in the tunnels.
This brickwork is from 1960, so this is the Sinatra era. He had to come through here, take out another wall in order to link up with what was the original loading dock from Prohibition booze. So he came through here and must have taken advantage of this entrance in order to lead out to the other cabins beyond. So this is the entrance to Frank Sinatra's subterranean world.
The party up above came to a crashing halt in 1963. Frank Sinatra got into an argument with the head of the Nevada Gaming Commission, and a few insults and expletives later, Old Blue Eyes lost his gaming license. Most of the tunnels were sealed up. The mob was chased out of the Calneva and would soon be finished in Las Vegas as well. Up next,
Our player, coming down.
digging down to prevent a flash flood disaster on the Strip.
So now I can see the immensity of this project.
And later, putting on a show with a deadly water cannon.
Okay, Las Vegas, watch out. Here we go.
Even though Las Vegas sits poised at the edge of the Mojave, one of the most inhospitable deserts in the world, flooding is a huge problem here and a major threat to the city. Annually, Las Vegas gets about 4 inches of rainfall, but over the years, incredible flash floods have dumped nearly that amount in a matter of hours, turning the Strip into a torrent and inundating casinos with water. Now, the cost to the city after a flood is huge. But as the city continues to expand and climate changes, the potential damage a future flash flood could wreak is unimaginable. Las Vegas is located at the bottom of a bowl-shaped valley. When sudden thunderstorms hit, the rainwater collects in that bowl, and thanks to hard, bone-dry soil and miles of pavement, there's nowhere for it to go. I met with regional flood control expert Gail Frazier to find out how the city is using the best engineering money can buy to protect itself from violent storms. I'm looking at a lot of construction here. This place is booming.
It is. This community keeps reinventing itself, something bigger and better every year.
And the whole city expands every year, right?
Right. Our population doubles every 10 years.
That's amazing.
It is. It's from 500,000 when I moved here to 2 million now.
There are now over 2 million people living in the Las Vegas area, a population increase of 85% over the last decade, and everyone here is at risk.
So you're in the middle of the desert, but water is a problem.
We've had 3 inches in 90 minutes. We've had channels come up 7 feet in 7 minutes. We've had detention basins rise 14 feet in 14 minutes in a single flood event.
To combat the problem, the government is building gargantuan subterranean tunnels to collect and channel the runoff.
This is the site. This is one of our projects currently under construction.
And this, these
boxes,
mammoth pieces of concrete are what you're burrowing under the earth.
Yep.
These massive pipes are 8 feet tall and 16 feet wide. Their unique rectangular shape allows them to move more water at a faster rate than a circular pipe, at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. Look at this object here. This is one of the units right over our heads that they're going to lower into the ground that comprise the whole channel system. This interior part is where it's going to be set down into. This giant crane here is what's required because this thing is heavy, but these two guys, that's what's amazing, is these two guys are basically guiding it into place. But to really get a sense of how massive this project is, you've got to go down into the tunnels. And Harold Hoover, this project's contractor, is taking me down. So you can see the earth here. Doesn't let the water sink in. Water becomes dangerous. What I'm going down into keeps Las Vegas safe. Tunnel here. So how deep underneath the street are we at this point?
We're 5 feet to the top and 15 feet to the bottom.
Okay. So up above our heads, Las Vegas neighborhoods, city streets going over. They have no idea.
No idea. The traffic is moving across the top of this.
Isn't that wild, doesn't it? How far are we from the Strip right now?
We're about 12 miles away from the Strip.
But one way or another, we are connected to that Strip, just like everything else.
Without this, down at the Strip wouldn't be possible.
A rushing torrent of water blasted the city in 1975, leaving most of the Strip underwater. Worried the economy wouldn't survive another flood, officials embarked on a $3.2 billion project to protect their biggest asset, the flow of cash into Las Vegas from the flow of water. So now I can see the immensity of this project. I mean, not only are each of these boxes big enough to hold a huge amount of volume, but one after another, for further than I can possibly see down here. The tunnel we're standing in is just a tiny part of a vast 450-mile network with another 450 miles planned. The system has grown from one major tunnel to a sprawling web as the city's population exploded. These channels, made up of thousands of interlinked concrete boxes, send all of Vegas's rainwater rushing into 75 massive basins with an average size of 52 football fields. The basins in turn slowly drain into Lake Mead.
How many of these tunnels would you find if you went around and looked for them?
Well, there's probably right now 500 of these tunnels around town, from anywhere from a couple hundred feet long to miles.
The tunnel we were walking in was built right in front of us. By the end of the day, around 15 sections would be in place. Each section of the tunnel weighs a staggering 50,000 pounds. But despite their huge size, they fit perfectly, snapping together in a tongue and groove pattern.
Lily, bring that box in.
This is hauling over one of these huge boxes, and in it comes over us, and we got to get out of the way, right? So this box is going to come over here, and then essentially it just drops right down in here and fills in this gap.
All clear? Coming down.
As the crane drops the box in place, workers apply a sealant to keep the bond watertight.
Like magic, just sucking itself right in here.
Yep. They'll raise it up a little bit, and the dozer out here will push it in. Crane down.
So this is done. This is in place.
This section's done.
And that's how you build a tunnel under Las Vegas.
That's how we do it.
Coming up for the first time on TV,
Setting off a depth charge underneath the Bellagio Lake.
we're getting hands-on with one of the most extreme spectacles on the Strip.
That's it. Woo! That's intense.
That is the Bellagio, one of Las Vegas's most famous hotels and one of its largest casinos, raking in millions of dollars all year long. But the biggest attraction here isn't the casino, it's this. When it's showtime at the Bellagio, the famous fountains can shoot over 1 million gallons of water up to 460 feet in the air. But the Bellagio Lake isn't to supply Las Vegas with drinking water. Its sole purpose is to show off, to amaze the spectators who come in droves to see it. But while the people are enjoying the spectacle up here, the show is actually run from a dark cavern in the belly of the hotel and from deep beneath the surface of the lake.
The Bellagio Hotel towers 36 stories over the north end of the Strip. Opened in 1998 at a cost of more than $1.6 billion, the Bellagio's top attraction was clearly the spectacular fountain show. And the headquarters for this amazing water show is an off-limits subterranean area known as the Bat Cave. Before the crowds gathered for the day's first show, we were getting a rare look inside the fountain's inner sanctum.
These enormous hotels are amazing. You know, I'm going to meet this guy named Gene Bowling. He's the manager of the Fountains of Bellagio. He's going to tell me how this whole mechanism, how the whole thing works.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Wait till you see what we have downstairs.
Oh, really? Man, there we go.
This is the Bat Cave.
Okay.
This is where all of the maintenance takes place.
This is excellent. Complete with ducks.
With ducks. We have it all.
A team of 36 engineers and expert divers work 24/7, 365 days a year to keep this $40 million water show running.
What we have here is a super shooter.
All right.
It's another component in our show.
Okay, and this is where the water that I see come up shoots out of.
Right.
On the day we visited, I was invited to take a dive in the lake to do maintenance on a super shooter.
It's already amazing that we're getting out there just to take a look at things, but I'm actually going out there working on the maintenance that they do every day, you know? So we're going to take out one of the super shooters, these giant water cannons that shoot this water 250 feet in the air.
These old ones you were talking about, those are receiver tanks for super shooters. We're going to be looking at those, and as a matter of fact, you're even going to be firing one of these.
I get to fire one off?
These are not called extremes for no reason either.
Right.
These are powerful pieces of equipment.
Let's go. So we're taking this out?
Yes, we are.
It's beautiful. All right, let's go. It's amazing how similar it looks to a real, I mean, this is a lake out there. Wow, it's vast.
Lake Bellagio has a surface area of 8.5 acres. It holds a remarkable 22.5 million gallons of water, enough to fill 35 Olympic swimming pools.
So I'm getting the sense now, I can see under here, under the surface, lots of the works. How deep is this water here?
The deepest area is 13.5 feet, and that's to accommodate the equipment that stands up to 12 feet tall.
Okay.
So it has to be totally submerged.
You know, we're in the middle of the desert in an 8.5 acre lake, which is pretty wild unto itself. But I mean, all these things need maintenance, work. It's an enormous operation, and we're going down to take a look at it.
So, I'm the first person, other than you guys, that has ever been down here looking at this apparatus. That's correct. We've never really allowed anybody to do this before. I'll tell you what's most surprising to me right off the bat. How much metal framework is required to hold these things in place because of the sheer force of what's happening, right? Sure it is, and they're also bolted down to the bottom, too, into the cement. Otherwise, they'd be firing all over the place. We'd be shooting at hotels and stuff, and that's not what we want to do. Yeah.
It takes a state-of-the-art computer system to run the fountains. There are more than 4,000 submerged lights and over 1,000 nozzles. 208 oarsmen that move and create the dancing water effect. 792 mini-shooters, which send geysers up to 100 feet. And the big daddies of them all, 192 super shooters, which send gigantic plumes of water rocketing 460 feet into the sky.
I don't know how you keep this all straight. I mean, it's completely disorienting. This is SCRI 41. So each one of these has a number, and we're going to follow it around and find the one we want to work on. Right. We'll just move on down. Number 36. 36. So this must be number 35.
Charlie gave me permission to do something that literally no one other than the Bellagio's elite dive team has ever done before. Fire off a super shooter from underwater. The power of these water cannons is so great that the detonation could literally kill me if I was in the wrong position. The super shooter is basically a tube filled with water connected to an air tank. There is a magnetically controlled valve between the two, and when it's open, air rushes in, driving the water up and out of the tube with deadly force.
So I'm going to put this magnet on there, and then what happens? It's going to open that valve up. There's going to be a gate in here that's going to open. It's going to let 500 pounds of pressure go singing into the bottom of that big extreme shooter. Just jet that water up about 460 feet, almost as tall as a tower. Okay, do I need to strap myself down or something? No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine wherever you're at. Okay, on count of 4? Yes. And then take it off again? Yes. Okay, Las Vegas, watch out. Here we go. Whoa! 3, 4. Take it off. Take it off. Damn! That's it. Woo! That's intense!
Impressions? That was fantastic. The sense of the power of the depression.
That's a very powerful feeling. Setting off a depth charge underneath the Bellagio Lake. What it takes to run a fountain here, huh?
From spectacular displays on the Strip to top-secret surveillance techniques, Las Vegas lives by the motto, you've got to spend money to make money. This over-the-top neon mirage in the middle of the desert was built by shady characters and brilliant engineers who have one thing in common. They do Sin City's best work underground.